What's going on, everybody? Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. the man of the people, as I'm here live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Lincoln Field. As Carolina Panthers at 1 o'clock will be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. So, we got a lot going for you guys today. We got the normal show where I'm going to get you up to date on everything that's happening, latest news, latest transactions, inactives. But we do have a special guest for you today that will be and I'm excited about it. It's going to be Kurt Coleman, former Carolina Panther, actually also former Philadelphia Eagle. He's going to join us at 11:40 today, approximately. So, again, Kurt Coleman, former Carolina Panther, former Philadelphia Eagle, will be joining us at approximately 11:40 today. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I also want to ask you to like, subscribe to the channel. Help us continue to grow. The more you guys like the channel, it just helps out the algorithm of helping people find us on the station here, so would appreciate that. And I'm going to step to the side a little bit so you guys can see there's not much going on so far right now, as it's pretty early, but we'll continue to give you all some live look-ins for the action today. And I'm thankful because it's not too cold of a day yet. I'm sure by the time game time rolls around that it will be much cooler, but it is not freezing cold right now. I also had a chance to talk with our head coach, Dave Canales, as he does his pregame routine, walking around on the field, and just told him good luck. Great guy. I like Dave. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we got a great show lined up for you guys today. I see everybody tuning in, which is good. I appreciate it. Hey, also, big favor, there's a link in the description, and also it's pinned in the comments. We are getting close, very close to reaching our GoFundMe goal. And so if you guys have the ability and want to continue to help support us independent media, that'd be really great if you can go over to that link and contribute. I think we got about $500 more that we need. But things have been going great. You guys helped me get these headsets that I have on right now, which allows me to hear things much better than in the past. And let me go ahead and give a few shout-outs. As you can see, we got about a little less than 2 hours to kick off. Playing with my graphics. Shouldn't be doing that. Let me give a few shout-outs as well before we get going here today. What's up, T Green? What's up, Ken88? I did see that you joined the other day, so I really appreciate you becoming a member of the channel and supporting us as you are. How's the temp today? I think the current temperature is about – we got VJ, our intern, working here. I don't know if he's going to tell me, but I think the temperature is about 50 degrees right now. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So let me continue to work through the comments here. Patrick Locklear, T Green. Good morning, Chris from Cali. Good morning. What's going on? So, again, we are working live here in Philadelphia. Going to get you guys ready to go over this. And we got a big matchup today. A big matchup, a tough matchup, as the Eagles are a team that is a force to be reckoned with. But I wanted to hear from you guys, right? I want to know what you think about today's game results. Do you feel like the Carolina Panthers are going to be victorious? Do you think it's going to be a tough battle? Do you have a score prediction? So, we always have the fan moment, right? What we can say as a fan, we always want these Carolina Panthers to win. But objectively, do you think the Carolina Panthers will win? And if you have a score prediction, let me know. Again, the Carolina Panthers are getting warmed up today, and I had a chance to sit down and talk one-on-one with guard Damien Lewis, and he's having a great season. All these linemen for the Carolina Panthers are having a really good season, keeping Bryce upright back there and not allowing too many sacks. And doing that interview today, it was a couple of days ago, but doing that interview, I asked Damien, I said, hey, what would you be saying to the guy next to you as you prepare for this big matchup against this Philadelphia Eagles team?
My guy Iggy, he already know what I'm going to tell him. Hey, showtime. This showtime. Everybody watching these type of game. You said they number one defense. And, it's showtime. Ain't nothing to talk about, Just go out there and play. We already went through it on practice. Practice is just like games. So, we learned everything, so ain't nothing to talk about. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And keep it keep it that simple. He get him the look. He know what time it is.
Okay. I was going to ask you what that look is.
Hey.
So there you go. There was a little preview there from Damien Lewis in terms of what he's saying to Icky. Like, hey, I like that. He's just going to give him the look to say it's time to do what we got to do. Ain't much to talk about. So I appreciate that. If you have not had a chance to check it out, please consider going over to the channel and checking out that interview. There's also a link in the description that'll help you go and check out that for the one-on-one interview with Damien Lewis. Really good interview. I know some people said they didn't even know much about that guy. He doesn't do a lot of media. He doesn't. So I really appreciate him taking the time to sit down with me one-on-one and talk about this Carolina Panthers team. Again, continue to hit that like button, subscribe. Help us grow. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about the game today. And we'll continue to roll through this thing. Now, let's I feel like I want to show something else first. So give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, I feel like I'm a little out of order here with my notes, but I know I want to go back and show you all the latest transactions of this Carolina Panthers team just the other day as they get prepared to take on the Philadelphia Eagles today. And that'll be those transactions that we made yesterday, and that's with your elevation. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We had 2 transactions that took place yesterday. One of those was activating wide receiver Dan Chisnia, and the other was activating linebacker Jacoby Wyndham. Sorry, got some new graphics going on that I am just messing things up. So I'm sorry. Once again, here we go. We got Carolina Panthers activated wide receiver Dan Chisnia by standard elevation. He was also activated last week. I'm not sure if that guy's up to 3. I know he's definitely up to 2. And then we activated Jacoby Wyndham. So why is that, those activations? Well, part of that is because our guy, Jalen Coker, not going to be going today, right? So we need some depth there. Now, Jalen Coker not being activated is a thing that an official activation list will be coming out here shortly. But Jalen Coker not being out there, I think it's more that fans of the undrafted free agent, Jalen, could be disappointed. But overall for the team, I think we're fine because you got to remember, Jalen wasn't a part of the roster in terms of the game plan, I should say, at the start of the season. He just came on strong. We're all cheering for him. So Adam Thielen has come back, and that really helps balance out the fact that Jalen Coker is not going to be active. And we need some depth there, so that's where Dan comes in. And then outside linebacker, just needing some help there. He's mostly been, trying to get this back on the screen here, he has mostly been a special teams guy that helps. So that's probably what he's going to be in his role today. So Jacoby Wyndham, again, is activated. So these 2 guys aren't officially active today. They probably are. Typically any time that you get a guy that's elevated, he's going to be activated. So that activated roster list will be coming out here in about 20 minutes, and we'll go through that for you guys as well. But I got to pause for a minute, all right, because this is a lot of hustle, but I love it, Our intern, VJ, had the opportunity to travel with us, so I'm very excited that he's here with us in Philadelphia. So for the first time, we have the full Charlotte Vibe production team on location. We all flew out yesterday and got here, so I'm excited about that. But you know what? It's been possible by you guys contributing super chats and the GoFundMe support. So I just got what I feel has been the biggest super chat that we have gotten by far, certainly this year. And it is going to go a very, very long way. I appreciate it, especially during this holiday season, that Tyler Haley, again, I gotta give you all the sound effects here. Struggling to see my screen a little bit here with everything that's going on. Tyler Haley says, keep up the great work. We have something to be excited about. A $99, basically a $100 super chat. Salute you, virtual hug, all of that stuff and more, because It's really neat. I won't get too emotional and go into how hard it is and how much support we need. But Tyler, thank you, and we're going to continue to bust our butt to give you guys lots of great content. And again, probably in about 20 minutes here. No, we're about 30 minutes out from Kurt Coleman that will be able to join us. And then we also have our photographer already out here on the field. So I'm going to step to the side again. I want to give you guys quite a few look-ins today so that you can see what's going on behind us. I don't know if there's much going on yet. We got some players that are warming up. And looks like we're pretty much on the Eagles side right now. Yeah. So we'll give you as many look-ins as we can, but we are currently on the south end, which is the Eagles side, and all the way on the opposite side of the field, or where some Carolina Panthers are. And maybe as they walk around, we'll be able to get you some more views on that. But I feel like since I have VJ with me today on the field, I can do this. When it's me by myself, I can't give you guys too many look-ins. But let's go ahead and continue to work through this. Carolina Panthers enter the week. This is week 14 at 3-9. Man, we've been getting so close in these last few games, losing by 3 points, losing in overtime, recently to the Chiefs and then to the Tampa Bay Bucks. But we head into this game 3-9 after falling to the NFC South Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime. But I think it's time for a win, right? This team is playing really, really good. And I'll tell you a little bit about my conversation with head coach Dave Canales. Now, it wasn't an official interview, but it was just telling him, these guys, I continue to hear from them, and I can hear it in their voice. And again, if you have not watched that Damien Lewis interview, check it out. But the way these guys talk about Dave Canales and his approach to coaching them, the relationships that he builds with them, the progress that they're continuing to see with him, and this team is playing better. It's happened ever since Bryce Young has returned. So I'm not going to sit here and predict that I feel like there's going to be an absolute win today, but I feel like we're going to see a good ball game. And I feel like there is a very fair possibility that we could see a Carolina Panthers win today here in Philadelphia, upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles. So want to mention that to you as well. But in the Eagles, they're winners of 8 straight. They have been rolling. 8 straight victories by this Philadelphia Eagles team, returning home after defeating another very good team, the Baltimore Ravens. They had that game 24-19. 13th matchup overall between these two franchises. They don't play each other a lot, even though they're both in the NFC. This will be the 13th matchup, so currently the Eagles lead the 12 games. Eagles have won 8 times. Carolina Panthers just 4 times. The teams last met in 2021, where the Eagles won a close game, 21-18. So want to get you up to date with that stuff. And before we go into some more details, let's go ahead and continue to take a look back at this Carolina Panthers team, a look back from the week and the events that took place. Now, this team, again, is trending in the right direction, which I feel good about the opportunities for today, and that should continue to happen. I don't see any reason why we're going to have any kind of setback and have games like we were having earlier this year. But I'm going to check the comments here to see what you guys are predicting for this game today, because I want to know what you guys feel and are thinking. And I'm going to check some of the comments here. Please continue to hit the like button as you tune in and watch. Losing my mark here. I have too many windows open. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what you guys are saying. Oh, somebody's talking about the temperature. I thought they were going to be talking about the points. Mr. No Sense, man of the people, morning from Greensboro. Protect the bank, Panther Nation. I think Lincoln is actually a financial company that sponsors the Lincoln Field here in Philadelphia. The bank is in Charlotte, America. Oh, my goodness. Charlotte, North Carolina is Bank of America. But we're here at Lincoln Field. Any news on Coker? Coker is not playing today. We're going to have that officially come out here shortly. We have to step on the defense to have a chance? I'm assuming you're saying step up on the defense to have a chance because Saquon Barkley's on the other side presenting some big challenges nevertheless. Leonard Krause, is that the end zone where Deshaun Foster broke 6 tackles for the TD? I don't know. We're on the south end zone, so if you know which, north or south that play took place, then that could help answer your question. We are 5-8 against. No, we're not 5-8. We're 4-8. All right, so I don't see any score predictions coming here, so I'll continue to rock through this show for you guys. But I was curious to see what you guys were feeling, and tell me, is it the fan in you with the prediction or is it the objective person in you with the prediction? But, yeah, there was a guy who feels like this game against the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles is a gimme. So much so that he started out with $1 million bet saying that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win against the point spread. I'm not a big betting guy, so I don't know what the point spread is or was, but I do know that the Philadelphia Eagles are heavily favored. $1 million is a lot of money. And then I guess he thought about it, and he's like, you know what? Let me go all in on this. So he ended up with a $3.1 million bet against the Carolina Panthers. And so that is one of the largest wagers in NFL history. $3.1 million this guy bet. He only, and I say only because, typically when you're betting, you're going to win a lot more than you put in, right? But he's bet against a heavily favored team. So he's only going to potentially win $500,000. So I think that maybe about 20%, a little bit less. That's not a big multiplier in terms of betting and wins, but he did it. And I said, man, that is some confidence out there. I don't know if that's any indication about what America feels about this game today and what's going to happen. But I can tell you this, again, from being in that locker room this week, talking to players this week, and I don't feel like they're in some crazy world thinking this. They feel pretty good about this matchup today. They feel like they have a chance. They feel like they can win. So I think we're in for a real good treat, Carolina Panther fans, today as this game takes place here at 1 o'clock against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me go ahead and continue to rock through some more of the show for you guys today. Let's talk about this thing called baller mode. Have you guys heard this mentioned before? The Carolina Panthers have this thing called baller mode. And even if you don't know what it means, you got to think that that's a real positive thing. And these guys have been ball. Again, we don't have – I want to be clear. We do not have all the victories that we would want at this point, but we're playing competitive football games, and you're seeing a Bryce Young that you have not seen since he was at Alabama. So let me break down to you guys what baller mode is.
Yeah, Will Harriger, he claims that we install that play every week at Wednesday. It's the first play. Before I get into the room, he says we're going to install baller mode here. That's licensed to go ahead and activate baller mode above the 2.7 time clock whenever you want. So Bryce has done a phenomenal job, and what it does for us, it heightens the importance of putting guys into space, like having spatial awareness, but then also say the ball finds energy. When Bryce is, operating on that, if you want to call it the second play, a burst of energy, right, into space, understanding where other guys are so you can go occupy the open space in the defense, that clicks, and that sets Bryce's eyes to those spots, if that makes sense. So you look at Thielen's route at the end of the game. He's running over the middle of the field. There's a backer dropping underneath it. Bryce steps up, rolls out right, and Thielen bursts to the open space. And we try to incorporate to our guys all the time, like, we're putting you in spots where there's spatial awareness on the field, but that ball will find the energy. So if you burst into that space, that kind of catches the quarterback's eyes when they're scrambling around and dealing with pressure. And then that's when the big plays occur above the 2.7.
So did you take all that in? So that was Brad Isaac, the offensive coordinator, talking about there is a thing that the Carolina Panthers themselves call baller mode, and that's when the play gets beyond 2.7 seconds. And this is where I go to say, why is Chris talking about liking Dave Canales and feeling like he's a good guy for this team. Baller mode, in my opinion, is also a little bit of the psychology of a coach getting his team motivated. And I'm looking down at my hand warmer. I'm trying to turn it on. I think it's disconnected. But I think that's a genius idea, right? Because here's what happens. As a coach, you want your guys to play through the whistle. You want them to play the whole time. You want them to keep fighting, right? And it's just human nature. If the play is going longer, you're on the backside, you're that wide receiver, you're that lineman, you might kind of go, okay, we can let up because plays are normally done by this point. But if you get your guys to thinking, you know what, when the play goes longer than expected, we're in baller mode. That's exciting. Like, we're now in, like, street football. We're going to keep playing. We're going to take it to another level. And now you have your players playing hard for you, which is what you want, not just the first part of the play that they know that something's supposed to execute, but if Bryce is back there, things get extended and he's running around, you're now still running around hard and making attempts on the ball and outplaying your opponent. I mean, that's what your objective is every single play. Outplay your opponent. And we call it baller mode. And again, ever since Bryce has been coming back, you've been seeing a lot of changes, and I think that's a progress. So from a coaching standpoint, I really think that's like a motivational thing in which they use that term to call it baller mode. And then Bryce Young himself talked about baller mode and what it means for him and how he reacts when he hears it.
But yeah, it was that was a off the time clock starting the second play, and like you said, that's something that Coach Canales talks about a lot. We talk a lot about in our room. So it's that's part of the plan. Obviously, we want to go through the reads and we want to make sure that we can be as efficient and throw to number one when they're open. But obviously, we play good teams. The guys on the other side of the ball get paid too. So it's competition, and when that isn't there and we're off the time clock, starting the second play is something that we work on. We emphasize a lot. We talk about it, and me just want to be the best that I can be to be efficient and operate the offense is definitely something that I take pride in.
Man, I don't know who Bryce Young's media coach was, but I want to give them a round of applause, a little hand clap, because that guy is consistently a guy that doesn't reveal things that could help give anybody an advantage about, like, oh, what's going on with Bryce? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but the way he goes and talks about, hey, instead of just getting excited and talking about baller mode, he's like, but here's the thing. Yeah, baller mode is something for us, but we go through our normal progressions first. I don't get out there and hope that the play goes beyond the 2.7 seconds so I can go into this mode. I want to get it done from the jump. And, but I also say that's a great mentality. That's a great focus. That's a great level of attention to detail. So Bryce Young, Dave Canales, there was at points when he was benched saying, okay, Dave doesn't like Bryce, and what's going on between these two, maybe there's some kind of relationship there. It could have been, but I think now that you could be having two guys that are very detail-oriented, that are very motivated, that are very driven, that have now gotten aligned in understanding how to exist with each other, and Dave has learned how to get all that he can out of Bryce, and that we're going to continue to see that evolve and be something that's very positive and great for this team. Now, what's been the key and what do we need to look out for to have that opportunity against this Philadelphia Eagles team that I feel like we certainly have? Well, that's going to be turnovers. Winning the turnover battle is going to be key for this team today. And it's been what we've been so good at over this stretch that Bryce has returned since Denver. So if you look at it, since Bryce has returned, I forget which week it is. Let me see if I have it in my notes, that Bryce returned. I think it might have been week 8 that Bryce returned. Technically, is when Bryce returned was week 8. So since Bryce's return in week 8, we have won or not lost the turnover battle every time except once. And we actually won that game. The Saints game was a game that we actually lost that turnover battle. But every other game since Bryce has been back, that is really a key that I don't feel like a lot of people have been talking about. And I want to stress to you guys as you're watching this game and you're wondering what's going to happen. If we are down, but we're still not losing the turnover battle, don't worry. If we're up, but we're losing a turnover battle, then you'd be concerned. But overall, seriously, it's turnovers, being ahead in the turnover. So we've always either been winning that turnover battle, getting more turnovers than the other team, or we've had a game where there was no turnovers. We didn't have the ball turnover. They didn't have the turnover. That's going to be, in my opinion, the biggest key. Saquon Barkley, yeah, we have to worry about him, be concerned about him, but I'm sure there's a plan for that. But that's not the biggest thing. Jalen Hurts getting the ball off to his great wide receivers. Yes, that's something to worry about and be concerned about, but that's not my fear. Bryce Young and who he may be missing or who he has, I'm not concerned about that either. But just long as the bottom line overall is that this Carolina Panthers team continues to protect the ball, continues to win the turnover battle, then you could be setting yourselves up for the potential for an upset today as the Carolina Panthers take on the Philadelphia Eagles. What else has Bryce been doing? Let me do a time check because I got to make sure I'm ready for Kurt, that when he comes on. By the way, if you're watching and you hadn't liked this video yet, shame on you. Please like the video. I'm going to step aside so you guys can, again, continue to take a glimpse at the action and see what's going on as we are getting closer and closer to game time. It is there on the clock so you guys can see what the game time is. And the weather is still pleasant. I'm not freezing. And again, we're on the Philadelphia Eagles side. Is that Saquon Barkley that's jumping at us, coming right at us? I think that's Saquon. Yeah, so dropped a piece of my headset there. But yeah, there's Saquon Barkley doing his thing. Legs are as small as can be. I think his calves are just as big as my thighs are. Let's see if I can get you guys a view of Saquon right here as he's warming up. It's a little hard to see because of the lighting that's going on right now, guys, but again, just giving you some bonus coverage of everything that's going on here in Philadelphia. And I'm going to take a drink of water, so give me just a second. I'll appear right back on the camera. All right, let me come back on here. And again, hey, VJ, can you get the camera real quick? And again, if you guys have the ability to contribute to our GoFundMe that's currently running, please do so. Links in the description, pinned in the comments. And for those that are watching, we probably have about 10 minutes or so until our great guest Kurt Coleman joined us here on the pregame show. And let's go. And by the way, for the members, appreciate you. And for those that are new watching, this is a show that's live and interactive, but on pregame shows out in the field, it's a lot going on, so it's hard for me to look at all the comments that are coming through. But what I will do is we get further in the show and I have some time at the end, I'll go back through and scroll on those comments and take a look, looking at the members and the super chats that come through. Again, Tyler Haley with the big super chat today. We appreciate it. We appreciate it greatly. All right, so we got a little bit more that we're going to continue to do and get you guys up to date. I dropped my cell phone here. Let me pick that back up. Bryce Young. Excuse me. My bad. Bryce Young is the difference maker, right? Your quarterback is always the franchise guy. Why? Because he impacts so much that could be going on. I've been touching on it a little bit already about the things that Bryce Young has been doing. I've talked about the baller mode, talked about turnovers. Another key to this game and is Bryce Young continuing to develop, being the guy that he has been. So Bryce Young last week had nearly 300 yards passing, which excellent. He's continued to do his thing. But he's been the difference maker in this team's success, in addition to that turnover, complementing the lack of turnovers that this team has had and winning that turnover battle. And one of the things that we've seen in his game has been Bryce running. Bryce continued to extend the plays, keep things going, right? And he needs to keep that up. But did you know this? I had said it before for those that may have not heard it. Did you know this? Last week when the Carolina Panthers took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got some pretty fast guys out there on both sides of the ball, right? But Bryce Young was the fastest ball carrier last week on that touchdown run, hitting nearly 20 miles per hour in that game. So not only is Bryce running the ball a little bit more than he ever has, he's running fast. And going to play a little clip here, show you Bryce. As Bryce talked about his running.
Yeah, Will Harriger, he claims that we install that play every week at Wednesdays.
My bad, that was the wrong clip. Give me just a second. All right, here we go.
Just a point of emphasis of, like you said, just we talk about starting the second play a lot, and just want to do whatever it is that is best for the team. Regardless of what it is, we want to move the ball, want to score points, and whether it's handing the ball off, it's throwing the ball, it's running the ball myself, it's really just whatever it is that from a play-to-play basis, I try to feel like is the best for the team. So it's not a point of emphasis. It's not something that that we have drawn up. But at the end of the day, we just want to be successful, however that looks.
All right, there you go. Bryce talking about his running, and it's been good. And here's my theory about Bryce lately. This guy's confidence is where it needs to be, right? Before it wasn't, everybody knew it. But him being the fastest ball carrier last week in a game where you had some plays that went further than he went, from a guy that you don't hear people talk about Bryce's athleticism and how fast he runs at all. You hear people talking about he's a small guy, he's a little guy, taking hits and being able to see over the line. You don't hear like Bryce running. And he actually has a pretty decent 40-yard dash. But I think more than anything, when you start to have the confidence that is necessary to play this game as a quarterback in the NFL and at a high level, it makes you do things at your body's maximum capabilities. Meaning, before you may be running, and you're running, but you're not confidently running. So you're running fast, but you might be thinking, oh, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to get hit. All these things, right? The mindset, think about your mindset. Anytime you're doing something, when your confidence is very high, then you're going to do things at the best level that your body can do. And that's what I think that run was all about. That's what I think his throws are about now. There's plays where he's scrambling, and he throws the ball not just away down the field, but he'll hit Tommy Tremble down the field, like throwing the ball like 25, 30 yards in the air. Bryce has been performing well under pressure as people have been blitzing him more and more, and he's been back there doing that as in being successful as a quarterback. Why? Again, because he's now has his confidence. Plays go longer than 2.7 seconds. He's okay. He's making things happen. Lots of good things from Bryce, and I want to talk about that running part there as we continue to rock on through here. And again, guys, continue to leave likes, leave your comments, and I will continue to work through those things with you guys. And by now the inactive list should be out. So give me a second to double check that so I can get to that list. Let's see. I don't see it quite yet, but I know it should be out very, very soon. All right, give me a second, guys. Pregame, live from the field, Lincoln Financial Field here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Again, give me just a second going through some things here. All right, so that list is not out yet, the inactive list. So we'll continue to run through our show here with you guys. Let's take a look at these stats. Actually, I see our guy, Kurt Coleman. That's Kurt in the blue. You don't have to get him. He'll come over. So we might have Kurt here any second now, as I see that he has now come near us. But let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. And normally the stats that I have here are the Eagles' offensive side. But actually what we're looking at now is the Carolina Panthers offense on the left-hand side. And then the rankings on the right-hand side will be the Eagles' defense. So what this does is it gives you an opportunity to look at what we are going up against. Again, normally this list would be the Carolina Panthers offensive rankings, and then on the right-hand side, it would be the Philadelphia Eagles offensive rankings. But today, this will be the Carolina Panthers offensive side on the left and the Philadelphia Eagles side on the right. It would be the Eagles defense. So, Carolina Panthers, this is why this is challenging today. On paper, it is very, very challenging on paper, all right? You have our offense, net yards, almost the worst. It's 32 teams. We're at 30th. And then the total net yards for the Eagles defense is first. So that's not a good-looking matchup on paper. Our rushing yards, they're getting better. Chuba's been good. We're 24th, but the Eagles defense, they are 7th. Our rushing yards per attempt, they're in the middle, and the Eagles are in the middle. But our passing net yards, we get about 187th, 7 per game, good for 29th. The Eagles defense, they're the top 3, so they get 178. So that looks like a problem. Sacks is a pretty even matchup. Third down efficiency. Again, these guys, I'm just showing you this so you all can soak it in and see what we're looking at on paper. We're pretty bad, and they're pretty good. So let me come back here on the screen here. So, yeah, that's from a statistical standpoint. It doesn't look good. But I want to say this in terms of when we're looking at the stats from today that I'm showing you guys as we head into this matchup. Those stats are accumulative. Those stats go from weeks 1 through 13, okay? And so you got to remember that this Carolina Panthers team has struggled a lot before kind of finding their footing midway through the season. And if you look at a smaller window of since Bryce has returned and this team has been playing some good, solid football, we've still had some problems, okay? We've still had a lot, very bad rushing defense. So we've had some issues, but overall things have been better, giving us opportunities to win. So we're going to go ahead and take a look over on the other side. Again, I saw Kurt Coleman go by. He's due to come on at about 11:40, which is kind of now. We'll see what happens. He might have had another thing to run into. But let's go ahead and look on the other side. We're going to look at, on the left-hand side here, you got the Carolina Panthers defense. On the right side, you got the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Again, left side, Panthers defense. Right side, Eagles offense. And, yeah, you got some things that are of a concern to look at here. From a statistical standpoint, we're going against a top defense, and they shut us down where we are good. So their defense is pretty good, stopping the run. I'm sorry. I did this backwards, guys. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack here, and let me clear this off the screen here so we can see a little bit better. All right, so Eagles offense, 4th best in yards allowed. Our defense doesn't stop anybody. And this is the one that everybody already knew about. Saquon Barkley being a beast, has his Eagles team on the offensive side being the #1 rush offense, and they're going against what is basically the number 32nd defense in stopping the run. They also do pretty good in third down efficiency, top 10 third down efficiency. They're currently ranked 9th. Carolina Panthers are terrible in third down efficiency and stopping the other team with the ball. So we're 32nd. That's an issue. And then last but not least, it all comes down to who has more points. And Philadelphia Eagles are pretty good. 7th in points scored at 26.7. And then the Carolina Panthers don't stop anyone, being 32nd. So statistically, it doesn't look good for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm not just going based off those stats. So I think the inactive list should be out right about now. Yes, the inactives are out. So give me just a second, and I'm going to get the inactives. And while I'm getting the inactives, VJ is going to just show you guys some of the screen. Some of the scene that's going on behind me, and I'll get this up on the screen for you guys to go through. So give me just a second. But again, I'm ducking down so you guys can meanwhile see the action. We're about 80 minutes to go until kickoff. 80 minutes to go until kickoff. And we're on the south side, which unfortunately is when I say south side, south end zone. And we're on the Philadelphia Eagles side, not the Carolina Panthers. So it's hard for us to get you guys a lot of Panthers. But we're going to go ahead and go through these inactives so that you guys can see what's going on. So current inactives. Outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney, he's going to be out today. That's not a surprise. And the Wonham and gosh darn, I'm drawing a blank on these guys' names right now because we got Wonham, we have I hate when I draw a blank like this as we're going over the act. I was looking for Kurt who just pulled up. That'll be jumping in there. We got Jalen Coker, who is out expectedly. So we knew that was going to be coming. Safety Jamie Robinson's inactive. We also have cornerback Shamar Bartholomew. He's inactive. Cornerback Caleb Evans and cornerback Caleb Farley. And offensive lineman. I always do that sometimes. Offensive lineman Jarrett Kingston are inactive. So, again, I'll run through this list. Jadeveon Clowney, Jalen Coker, Jamie Robinson, Shamar Bartholomew, Evans, Caleb Farley, and Jarrett Kingston. They are our inactives for today. And once I come back to screen, we need a little bit more light on my guy here, Kurt Coleman. So I'm gonna let our camera operator get things together. Kurt, it's been a while, man. It's been a while.
I know. It's been a minute. But, I'm happy to see that we are, as the Carolina Panthers, we're rising.
Yeah.
We're rising. We're playing a lot better. We're playing as a team, complementary football. And, I want to see us get over these humps in these close games, but we're right there on it.
I'm going to marvel at your suit here because I'm always in a suit. Even in the preseason, I'm always in a suit. I'm not in a suit because I'm like, for the winter games, I'm going to have a coat on, and you won't know what I have on underneath. So just my little –
It's a 50-degree game time temp. It is – this in Philadelphia, you have to appreciate a beautiful sky.
I do.
And a 50-degree weather. That's football weather right here, up here in the Northeast.
You're right, but you look good, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, that inactive list that we just went through, anything from there, to me it's not surprising. We knew that Jadeveon was going to be out the other day, and Coker, the other guy, was going to be out. Anything from there shocking you?
I mean, nothing that's shocking, but I think it's going to hinder and change some things. Obviously, Jadeveon he is a veteran presence. He has 3.5 sacks in the season. I mean, you need him to kind of help anchor some of that defense because we've been getting a lot of pressure over his last few weeks. So you're hoping that the next guy up can come in there and really bring that intensity, that stableness to the edge, because we have to be able to set good edges. And then obviously Jalen Coker. I mean, I really liked this game since I saw him in preseason, and as he's continued to grow. I mean, he's leading all rookies as far as undrafted rookies that are receiving yards. So he has set himself up to be very successful. We just need to get him out there and healthy.
Okay, you know what? And I did not formally introduce you, which is bad for me. So let me formally introduce this man. This is Kurt Coleman former Carolina Panther, former Philadelphia Eagle, and you're going to be doing the play-by-play today. Starting at what, 12? What time you got?
Well, we got a couple hits going on right now, but yeah, I'll be the color next to Anish and Jim Zoki.
Okay. And Panthers.com is a good place to listen to that online in case you're not in Charlotte. But Kurt Coleman, this team has been turning around, right? What has been impressing you, or what stands out the most as this team is now being, what I would like to say is playing competitive football every single week?
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, I think this was Dave Canales' idea when this thing first started. We knew that there would be some bumps and hurdles to kind of get over, and it's really tough as the preseason goes, just with the stipulations, and you're trying to kind of manage really just load for people and making sure that they're not healthy and they can go into the season as healthy as can be. So it took some time for this team to kind of figure out who they were. You see this offensive line really growing together. You see the way that Chuba's been running the ball, and now – with the confidence that Bryce is playing, when I see him dance in the end zone, I say, you're getting it. That light is clicked on, and he's understanding the system. I think we put a lot of pressure on him to be so successful in year 2, but with a completely different offense. I think that's so extremely tough. So now what I've seen is he's understanding the offense. He understands where his guys are going to be, and they're playing all together. And then this defense is really starting to come along in these last few weeks. So, again, what I look to see is the team progressing, regressing, or plateauing. And right now we are progressing in all phases of the game, which is very promising.
And you mentioned Coach Canales, right? He's a big part of this. And I've been talking to guys one-on-one. I sat down with Damien Lewis the other day. And these guys, you can hear it in their voice. You can actually see it in their eyes when they go to talk about Dave and believing in him and believing in his process. And I think a big part of that for him has been the relationship that he's building with these guys. He made a very big point to say, you know, when guys know that I care about the person and I'm giving you criticism, you know it's coming from a good place. And I feel like that's all clicking. So I've been a big fan of Dave. What are your thoughts on Dave and the job he's doing with this team?
Since I've got to know him over the last, beginning of the season till now, it's relational. I don't care what business you're in. Everything is about relational. And if you can really get to know the person and understand, hey, what does it take for them to click? What motivates them day in and day out? To me, that's what matters, and that's how you drive people to be their best versions of themselves. So when you're asking a guy, hey, I need you to do this on the field, well, if I know exactly what he does off the field, guess what? I'm willing to do whatever I can for you on the field. And I think he's done a great job of getting to know his team and know what motivates them and know how to really take care of them in the best way.
Yeah. This defense has their work cut out for them going against the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley, you're a former player, being out there. Does your mentality have to change a little bit when you're playing a guy like Saquon Barkley?
Well, I mean, the mentality doesn't change. I mean, you're going out there to really just hunt. It is hunting season, and you're in the wilderness. Now, Saquon he's a different type of beast now that you're going to hunt. Yeah. So the way you attack it is going to be different, but the mentality should be the same. It's going to be all 11 getting to the ball, and then there's going to be opportunities. This offense does a great job of making sure it's one-on-one tackling or one-on-one spacing. So we have to have a great high emphasis on being able to tackle in space. If you have missed tackles, this team will eat you alive. A.J. Brown had 2 explosive plays against Baltimore because he caught the ball, missed tackle, and he's gaining 30 yards, 25 yards a pop. I mean, same thing with Saquon. You have him there.
Right.
Did he jump over you? Did he spin off you? Did he stiff? I mean, he has so many tools in his bag. So, I mean, to me, it's just going to be all 11 conversion to the ball. But when you have those opportunities, you have to get them down at the point of contact.
Yeah. So I like that. Your mentality doesn't change, but it may go back to the really fundamentals. Yeah. Guys staying in gaps, guys playing their role. Bill Belichick makes it famous, just do your job. Yeah. And Dave talks about that each week. Everything's the same. I don't care where we're playing, who we're playing, just do the same thing that you're asking to do, follow and we'll be okay. Things will work out. It's a full game. It's not one quarter. It's a full game. Anything in particular before I let you go? I know you got to get back up there. Anything that you're going to be looking for in this game today or matchups?
Well, I mean, there's going to be matchups across the board, especially with Devontae Smith coming back into the fold for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I see this team, they have a lot of weapons. I mean, our defensive backfield has to play phenomenal so that our front 7 can really do what they can do to stop that run. Mm-hmm. This offense is very explosive with the run. They're number 1 rushing in every statistical category, but at the end of the day, you have Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and then Kenneth Gainwell that comes in to kind of help. They can do a lot of different things. So our front 7 has to focus on that, make sure they handle the RPOs, and then our DBs have to play exceptionally well. And then on offense, I'm going to keep saying, shorten the game. We have to be able to run the ball well, let that play clock get down.
Yeah.
You know, it's that adage of we have to do everything extremely well. But we can get a win here, but we can't turn the ball over. I can tell you that. We have to score when we get in the red zone.
Yeah.
And like I said, we have to rush the ball much better than we have since we did last week.
Yeah, and I'm going to let you go on that, but I said that earlier. I said turnovers, I don't feel like has been talked about a lot, but that's been the key for this team, especially since Bryce has returned. They've only lost a turnover battle once. So if you win it or tie it, this team has a really good chance to do that. The last time that they didn't win it was that Commanders game where they got blown out. But, again, they've been key on that turnover.
And they started off with the turnover that game. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where when you look at the best teams in the NFL, their turnover differential is in the positives. And the ones that aren't doing well, they're in the negatives. And there's a reason why, because when you give extra possessions to anyone in the NFL, but when you talk about high-powered offenses, guess what? They're going to make you pay. So we have to, again, shorten the game, do not turn the ball over, and we have to score when we get opportunities.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Head on upstairs. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Kurt Coleman, former Carolina Panther and current Philadelphia. I got excited, guys. Former Carolina Panther and former Eagle that was joining us for a little bit to give us his insight. So there's our special guest that I told you we would have, and I'm glad that we were able to have and hope that you guys enjoyed it. So, again, continue to support the channel. We'll continue to do what we got to do to make it worthy. Give me a second to get some things back going, and we'll continue to work through the show. All right, so we got just over an hour to go till the kickoff. We got about 10 more minutes in the show, and let me just go through a few of my remaining notes, and I'm going to also make sure I have a chance to answer some of you guys' questions. So give me a second to take a little drink. And again, it's good weather out here. So Kurt, he did make me feel bad, guys, because he had on a suit looking nice, and I wanted to have on a suit saying that would have been a nice image on camera. And I feel like I'm casual, but it's not normally this warm in Philadelphia. It's actually been freezing. It's been in the 30s. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch my very first broadcast from here, and it was like a 25-degree wind chill. So it is what it is. But let me go ahead and share with you guys one other clip about my one-on-one interview with Damien Lewis. There's a link in the description for you guys to check that out, so I hope that you will. But there's a chance today, and I was talking with Kurt there, telling him about, hey, talking with these players, I just really, really hear and believe that Dave has connected with them and has these guys playing at their toughest. Here's Damien Lewis on the difference this team is right now between when things first started back in September and where we are now in Week 14, getting ready to take on this Philadelphia Eagles team. Again, I feel like certainly the Eagles are favored. I feel like the Eagles should be favored, but I do feel like there is an opportunity, there is a legitimate chance for the Carolina Panthers to surprise and make mad a lot of these Philadelphia Eagle fans.
It's a different team. You can feel it. The organization feel it. The people in the building feel it. It's definitely a different team. It was a new offense, new coaches, new players, and so people just trying to get the feel of it. And now that I see that we can believe that we can win, and everybody buying into what coach putting out. So when you got guys who come in, want to work every day, and buying into what the coach putting out, that's a great team. Going to set up for the future.
All right, so there you go. There was Damien Lewis talking about this team is different, man. They believe. They'll run through, again, you heard it there, so I'm not going to regurgitate all of that back out to you guys, but we're going to be in for a treat today. So we're going to be wrapping up here. You guys, if you don't follow us on Twitter, please consider joining us on Twitter. If you don't follow us on Instagram, please consider following us on Instagram. Game Action, we have a photographer here, Patrick Snyder, the best photographer there is covering NFL teams. He currently helps us out, working for us in Charlotte Vibe, covering the Carolina Panthers. And there are going to be some excellent photographs from today's game. And we do something that only one other organization, which is the Carolina Panthers, can do. No other media outlet does what we do, which is during the game, good or bad, whatever's going on, we're going to be having pictures from that. We've already posted several pictures from players warming up. I don't have the angle to show you from this point, but Patrick's walking around the field. So there's already pictures right now on our Twitter showing the guys warming up in the Game Action. So please head on over to Twitter if you haven't and check out the images that we have from the game. And once the game starts, I'm going to go up here shortly, go in the press box, and follow us on Twitter as well for the latest updates on the game, injury statuses, and updates as well. And you see scroll on the bottom, Tyler, I think I've missed a super chat. Tyler Hala gave us a heck of a super chat earlier, $100, getting us a lot closer to our goal so we can continue to have some equipment like we have like this, which helps tremendously when I have a guest like Kurt Coleman that's able to come on. It's loud here, but you notice we weren't yelling. We could hear each other easily. That's because of the contributions you guys have made that allowed us to get these headsets right here. And I think I missed a super chat, so let me go to that, and then I'll spend as much time as I can getting ready to answer some of the questions. Here we go, super chat from my lady Knucklehead K. What's up, Chris? How you doing? She says subscribe and become a member. Yes, please subscribe and become a member. I think it's only like $3, $2.99. Made it cheap so I can have more people signing up. So if you guys are able to, I know it's the holidays, but if you're able to subscribe and help us continue to grow, that would be greatly appreciated and welcomed. So let me go ahead and try to get through a few questions before we get out of here. Like the video, comment, subscribe. Let's see, Amp for Life. It's the best coverage of the team on YouTube, especially with the player interviews and game day pregame shows with special guests. We try. We do what we can. But I think she's right. Let's see here. Again, just checking out some of the comments before I get out here. Dorell, good member. Appreciate you tuning in. I see that we did have somebody in the comments, so we don't have a moderator, but I have banned that person, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Antonio Lyles, love your show. You're the only one in the media that is live inside the stadium bringing live coverage. You should have more likes than this. Yeah, so guys, here's the thing. The big thing is, you guys that love the channel, that support the channel, you can do a lot of help with helping this channel continue to grow. So all you need to do is just make sure that you interact with the video. As soon as you see them come up, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Leave a comment, interact, and we'll continue to grow. You know, we'll continue to grind it out. And if you do hop on Twitter to check us out during the game and you see any good images, just ask that you guys retweet those, help other people find out about us. But you guys that support my channel, I appreciate you. A lot of people have seen me grow. I appreciate you. There's a lot of new people. I appreciate you. So we're going to pack on up, head into the press box to break down this game, and you can expect within an hour of the game ending, we'll be back on the field bringing you hopefully good news, but whatever news, whatever has taken place, we're going to bring it to you in full and in depth. Post-game, we'll have some player interviews. So that's something new that we're doing on our post-game show. We'll go into the locker room, get those player interviews, and that will be part of our post-game show, so you guys will be able to check that out. We'll also have stats. Not able to get player interviews post-games. You got to have a big check to write to the team for those guys to come out. We're not there yet, but we'll do what we can to have other media, have other guests, so we can give you guys the complete, full coverage as best as possible with this Carolina Panthers team. So I'm going to step to the side. I'm going to step to the side and give you guys about 30 seconds of just some viewing, and then we'll go ahead and end the broadcast. So enjoy it. Game time is just about an hour away. Again, we're on the Philadelphia Eagles side, so it's hard to show you guys a lot of what's going on with the Eagles, but we'll just show you what we can and look forward to seeing you guys once we end. Again, remember, like, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment, help us grow. The bigger we grow, the more that we can do for you guys. So reporting live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Lincoln Field, also known as the Link. I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe, and we'll see you shortly.